I really believe that leadership is a privilege, and it's a privilege because it's an opportunity for us to be force multipliers for good, meaning that success is not only defined by how we create shareholder value, but also value for all stakeholders. What do humans want at a very foundational level? I think they want three things. One is autonomy, they want the freedom to express. Second is they want to be seen as being competent. And then they want to actually be recognized for what they're doing, a sense of connection. My road to resilience has been the following stages. First is surrender, second is acceptance, third is to forgive myself, then to love myself again, and then to rise up in hope and to walk towards something new, something different, find a reason to be and an opportunity to serve. I believe that happiness resides within us. Happiness, if I was to take it down to an equation, it is equal to what we have divided by what we desire. The corridor to get to happiness is through the prism of gratitude and generosity. To master habits of curiosity and resilience is what I would like to share with our listeners.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our episode of the Happiness Hour. Today, I have with me a very interesting guest, Niren Chaudhary. Niren is the former chairman and CEO of Panera Breads, where he led one of the world's largest and most innovative fast casual food companies. With over 3 decades of global leadership experience across Panera, Krispy Kreme, and Yum, he's known for building purpose driven cultures and defining customer loyalty through digital innovation. Beyond corporate success, Niren's journey has been deeply shaped by love, loss, and spiritual introspection, especially through the life and legacy of his daughter Aisha, whose story inspired the film The Sky is Pink and the documentary Black Sunshine Baby. Fluent in multiple languages and a lifelong learner, Niren dedicates his life to teaching, mentoring, and speaking about resilience and conscious leadership. Thank you, Niren, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ashu. Wonderful to be here.
I would, you have such a rich and diverse experience across disciplines, across cultures, across organizations, and also you pursue many passions. What I would really like to know is how did you come down to this whole concept of building or purpose driven cultures where people, purpose, and profit stay equally relevant?
Thank you, Ashu. I think this orientation has perhaps developed and grown as I have lived life and accumulated experiences professionally, but also, as you mentioned, profound personal experiences. And as I've traveled that path, my definition of what leadership is has also evolved. And I really believe that leadership is a privilege, and it's a privilege because it's an opportunity for us to be force multipliers for good, meaning that success is not only defined by how we create shareholder value, but also value for all stakeholders, meaning how we serve the people who work with us, the community in which we operate, the planet that we inhabit, and of course the shareholders. So I believe it needs to be a broader impact on the world around us and a broader ecosystem. And the only way to do that actually is to have this new playbook, a new business model, a new definition for capitalism, which is profit and purpose are connected through a virtuous cycle, whereby you have to be profitable, obviously, because without profit, there are no possibilities. So you have to be profitable. But once you're profitable, you then have the resources to be purposeful. But then I think as leaders, we need to hold ourselves accountable to ensure that the purposeful activities that we undertake also in turn are reinforcing our profit endeavor. I do believe that that's difficult, but it is possible, and it indeed should be the ambition of future leaders, given all the various challenges that we deal with today.
You talk about, the golden rules of business that people want to feel seen and be heard. Something that, as I was telling you, that was my journey of always wanting to feel loved. In practice, how do you bring that about to make people really the heart of the business?
That's such a wonderful question. I believe that all of us aspire on our journey to move from being managers of tasks and activities to be leaders who inspire humans. And the distinction is managers tell people what to do, and leaders inspire people to become who they can potentially become. And as you can tell, leaders obviously unlock much greater collective and individual levels of excellence than a manager would. And then the question is, how do you really inspire people? I believe you inspire people first by being trustworthy, which is a function of being good at what you do as a leader, but also being a person of a strong character, predictable behaviors. That's sort of almost the starting point. But you need to go above and beyond that. And that above and beyond that is creating a culture of comfort with intimacy, of being vulnerable, and then showing that you care as a leader. And if you show that you care and you're able to be vulnerable and deepen your relationship with the people who work with you, that's how they feel seen, that's how they feel heard, that's how they feel inspired to go above and beyond what you may be expecting them to do. So let's unpack what that means. Especially, I want to just talk about care. I think demonstrating care to our employees is in a couple of ways. One, of course, is in your coaching relationship, your mentoring relationship, you're caring for the success of the people who work with you in a pretty structured fashion, having structured one-on-ones, developmental conversations. I think we understand that. But there's a second component to that, which is about the importance of showing that you care by helping build a tribe. We're all like deep inside us, we're tribal. We love to feel that we belong, and we are connected to something that is bigger than us, and that we build stories around that. We storytell around. We have memories around. We have emotion around that. So building a tribe to me is how you show people that they are included, that they feel loved, they feel seen, they feel respected. And the two ways in which you can do that are to build a recognition culture. And the second thing is to actually build rituals. So let me share with you some interesting examples. And before I do that, I think you'll agree with me that what do humans want at a very foundational level? I think they want three things. One is autonomy. They want the freedom to express. Second is they want to be seen as being competent. And then they want to actually be recognized for what they're doing, a sense of connection. So connection, competence, and autonomy is what we all seek. And recognition gives you all three. Rituals give you all three. And let me give you some examples that may be a bit different. So recognition, as you know, is essentially a formal way of recognizing people in a very authentic fashion to help them feel seen and loved and appreciated. And you can do recognition in so many different ways, but doing it in a way where it is heartfelt, or it is deeply authentic, can be transformational. And I'll share a story with you about heartfelt recognition. When Aisha passed away, David Novak, the chairman of my company, within 24 hours, took 3 flights from Dallas and was outside my house in Gurgaon within 24 hours to give me a hug, cry with me, and then turn around and take those 3 flights and go back home. That to me is heartfelt recognition. I felt seen, I felt loved, I felt that I mattered, and therefore, as you can imagine, I'll do anything for that man. Another way of recognizing, even sort of, to elevate the customary, looking for opportunities to delight the people who work with you. So I have this thing of, I will never be lazy about my interaction with the people who work with me. So I will not send birthday cards or flowers and say happy birthday and deeply impersonal and do that to everybody the same way. So I make a list of what is important to the people who work with me and then just personalize it a little bit to let them know I sincerely appreciate them. So there's, one of my HR friends who worked with me in the recent past loved golf. So on her birthday, I gave her golf balls with my face embossed on those balls.
Now that is
And
seen at a different level.
and you know what? She won a competition of the longest drive because she loved whacking my face. So, but but that's what I mean about making it authentic and fun. And finally, reaching the families. Can you reach the families? When was the last time that our employees, the parents of our employees, heard how good they were or how much they were appreciated at work? So a few years ago, I wrote to the parents of all my executive team members, almost like a school report card, and told the parents, your kids are absolutely brilliant. And this is what they have done, and
How
this is what I really
touching.
appreciate, you know. And you know what? The parents who never hear anything, the kids never share and they never hear, when they got this letter, you can imagine how proud they felt. And some of them, they read it over the Christmas dinners to the rest of the family, much to the embarrassment of my executive team members. But this is what I mean about recognizing is like really deeply authentic in a very human, personal way and having fun with it. So that's recognition. And then the rituals piece is also, fascinating. Rituals is that, as tribes, all of us in families or communities have rituals around Diwali, around, families or Rakhi or Raksha Bandhan or Christmas. We all have rituals. And that's what builds the connectivity of us as families and so on. So I deeply believe in it that rituals should be predictable. They should happen every year. And they should have an element of fun to it. And so that they engender stories and memories and conversation. And that's how you build a tribe, right? So I'll again share some funny examples. So in the US, Halloween is a big thing, and we have this dress up Halloween thing. And I don't know, I get very excited by all this. So we had this ritual of everybody in the executive team would dress up, as a character. Um, so one day, a couple of years ago, I dressed up as Snow White. So I was Snow White, and I had my seven dwarfs who
I
wasn't
love
with
your
me.
sense of humor.
And then I imagine I was walking around the whole day wearing this Snow White outfit with a long wig and some lipstick and a skirt. And I sat like that in meetings, and people were just like rolling over laughing. And I said, "Listen, I'm the same person. Why are you like?" And we had such a great time, and that's how like pictures get taken, memories get built, because when we are having fun, we are alive, right?
And that's how you break down the walls. You
Yeah, that we're all actually humans and working with other humans in pursuit of something, significant. And fun is such an understated, underutilized, aspect of building culture. So these are some examples of how people can be seen and feel loved and feel that they belong, and therefore and they have so much energy when they come to work. That's how you inspire them, you know so those are some thoughts about.
Yeah, go. No, thank you so much. This is really going above and beyond what people would typically see leadership as, and that's what really creates the culture and the tribe, as you said,
Yeah.
really. Taking a bit of a divergence towards you're deeply spiritual and multifaceted. Karate, golf, tennis, music, fluent in languages. You're a curious learner. And yet and as we were speaking earlier, you are doing many, whether it's your boards, your coaching, your advisory, there is just a lot happening for you at all times. How do you stay balanced and anchored?
My wife describes it as being a problem. She says, maybe you have ADHD or something. You're like constantly seeking stimulation. But I really feel that I feel that having had such profound losses in my life, I feel that life is such a gift, and we should not waste it. We should wake up with a deep sense of gratitude and a desire to live our very best life every single day, every single moment. And to me, a life well lived is a life which is not singular dimensional, which is not just one aspect of who you are, but is a multi-dimensional expression, almost like a kaleidoscope of life experiences. That whatever is important to you, that you're actually nurturing that desire by trying to be better every single day. That pursuit of excellence. I want to be a better guitar player. I want to be a better linguist. I want to be a better scholar. I want to be a better husband, a better parent, a better son. I want to be the best version of who I can be across all the dimensions that I have been gifted with. That pursuit of the ever elusive level of excellence that you will never get to, but that endeavor is a habit. It's a habit, like they say, excellence is not an act but a habit. It's like what you get up and you do consistently. And you can't do it in one dimension of your life and not in the other. Therefore, I find great joy in trying to get better as a human today than I was yesterday in all the things that are important to me. And what I find is that think of this as a wheel of life. And all the spokes are the various roles that we all play in the wheel of life. A father, a son, a husband, a student, a linguist, sports person, a musician, they're all spokes. And if we don't progress across all the spokes and we're lopsided and we only think about work, life can be a pretty bumpy ride. But if we have equal progression of a desire to actually be the best version of who we can be at the various dimensions, identifying periodically what is working, what is not working, what can I do differently to be a better father, a better husband, a better friend. In that endeavor is what makes life and the wheel of life be a lot smoother. So that's how I think about it.
Very profound. Thank you. You talked about, and I have read and even seen the movie The Sky is Pink. I understand you've suffered the loss of not one but two daughters. And the losses have shaped you profoundly. They've touched you obviously at a very deep level. How have they shaped you as a leader and as a person, other than what you said? Of course, you see life as a gift. Of course, I hear that very loud and clear. But as a leader, what changed?
I think in many ways, first of all, I think to learn to live without the children that you've lost is in itself quite a journey. And I think my journey of that has taught me how to be resilient, and which I can then apply in different facets of my life. My road to resilience has been the following stages. First is surrender, second is acceptance, third is to forgive myself, then to love myself again, and then to rise up in hope and to walk towards something new, something different, find a reason to be and an opportunity to serve. So that's been a very profound lesson, and I've kind of applied that not just in my personal life, but also in the setbacks that I have professionally, and that we all, there's nobody in this world who has not lost something or someone, and I apply these lessons there. And then, of course, the loss of my daughters has deepened the compassion in my heart, and I found that that wound that I carry with me can only be healed if I can make a difference in the lives of those who are less fortunate. In fact, Aisha wrote in her book, My Little Epiphanies, if you can't change your own life, there's always someone else's. And therefore, the way in which I have been shaped is that when I show up with not only ambition but also compassion. And I feel both are required as one moves forward in life. And lastly, I think it has deepened my own sense of gratitude for what I have in this moment that we have together. For example, right, this conversation, this day, because anything can change at any time. And therefore, really sort of taking a moment to just connect with yourself is very important. So I would say those are some of the learnings that I've had over the last few years.
Uh, you've obviously taken the best out of it and are trying to serve from that space. And I'm sure, as you said, it will heal the wound. I pray for that to be healed. Compassion, resilience, gratitude are three very pivotal or key ingredients to staying happy. And the fact that we can look at life as a gift, the fourth one, if I had to add to that. Would you share, and we all chase happiness till we come full circle. What is your perspective on happiness?
I believe that happiness resides within us. So going to places and trying to find it outside of yourself, I think is futile. I've tried it. I've tried holidays. I've tried various things and ice baths and various types of meditative techniques and other experiences, but I find that it's, at the end of the day, resides deep within us. And I think within us, happiness, if I was to take it down to an equation, it is equal to what we have divided by what we desire. And many of us spend our life on the numerator and trying to get that you actually match what you have to what your desire is, and both of them are expanding. Whereas in some ironical way, if you shrink the denominator and you reduce your desires, I think what you have can make you infinitely happy. So I think the work to be done is more around what do I desire, and is what I desire truly important and meaningful. And I think a lot of work needs to be done for us personally on what we desire. And then I think that can be a really important determinant of happiness. And I do find that happiness resides, the corridor to get to happiness is through the prism of gratitude and generosity. I think it's the everyday practice of looking at life through the lens of what is going right in my life, what am I grateful for, and then how can I show up every day with a generous spirit to those who are around me. I think that gives you richness in the moment in which we live, makes you feel more alive, more connected, and therefore more happy.
Thank you for sharing your insights and how they continue to expand you and support you. One life lesson or leadership lesson that you would like to share with our listeners?
I think firstly, Ashu, I think the conversation has been very profound and very enjoyable, and I really appreciate the depth of your questions. So thank you for that. I think one piece of advice I would say is the following, that just like we go to the gym to strengthen our bodies, there are two master habits that can really serve us extremely well in our professional and personal life. And I would share those with you and recommend that we do our reps every day against these two master habits. One is about curiosity, and the second is about resilience. So, these two master habits of curiosity and resilience is what I would like to share with our listeners. Think of it as, daily reps that you need to do to get ready for life, personally or professionally. So, curiosity is important for all the obvious reasons, but here's a way in which you can exercise that muscle. Pick up one thing that you find interesting but very hard to learn, and then learn it. So it could be music production, it could be learning a new language, it could be playing a new sport, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be work related, because learning actually is a discipline that can be applied to different situations. So picking up one new thing to learn and really going after it every single day with tenacity and discipline, I think, is a wonderful master habit to build, curiosity. So that's why, I end up learning languages, because it really kind of stimulates my mind in terms of how should I learn, or learn how to play a new guitar piece, for example. So that's curiosity. The second is resilience. To me, it's a master habit, as I explained in my own life, but the way to build it is to find situations in which you are forced with a choice of, I know it's important, I don't want to do it, but I do it in any case because I decided that I'm going to do it. So, for
That's life.
example, for example, you say, I'm going to start running every day, and I'm going to dedicate that half an hour to my fitness. And you come home, you're tired, and there's a terrific Netflix series that's on. There's fantastic dinner at home, and it's raining outside. And there are 1,000 reasons why you should not be going for a run, and you don't feel like doing it. And that's when you're tested, and that's when, if you put on your raincoat, put on your shoes, put on your AirPods, and out you go. That, to me, in that moment, is that resilience muscle, that you do things even when you don't feel like doing it. So I would say exercise these two master habits, curiosity and resilience, and they'll serve you extremely well in your personal and your professional life.
Thank you so much, Niren, for coming and sharing your experiences, your learnings with utmost authenticity, vulnerability, and practical ways to do it. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much again.
Thanks very much, Ash. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you.